Hello everyone, welcome back. Last session of the day. Very few last people standing. Okay. Guys, is there some problem in joining the session today? Parshuram, there is some problem. Part C not available for batch 4. Just hold on, guys. Okay, let's begin our discussion now. Others can keep on joining. Anyway, we have the recorded lecture for them as well. So it's NALSA, National Legal Services Authority. You know, in our country, legal aid is a very, very important element, and no one should be denied justice just because of their economic capacity. So, in fact, there is also a DPSP. The DPSP is Article 39 capital A. This was added in 1976, and this particular DPSP said that free legal aid to the poor people, to the weaker sections. So the state should ensure that they better provide for, not better provide for, but they should provide for free legal aid to the weaker sections, the poor people in the country. In pursuance of this agenda of DPSP, that is Directive Principles of State Policy, we have found that in 1987, A law was passed, the Legal Services Authorities Act, and under the law, a body was created called NALSA. This is NALSA. National Legal Services Authority, right? This NALSA has the purpose of establishing a nationwide uniform network for providing free and competent legal service to the weaker sections of the society on the basis of equality of opportunity. That's the point of NALSA. So, a couple of things that you should know. Point number one is that this body NALSA has is controlled by the Supreme Court itself. And just to mention here, the Chief Justice of India is the patron in chief. Patron in chief is like a ceremonial head, like some chancellor of a university. But the actual functioning head or the executive chairperson is the senior most Supreme Court judge. This person is the executive chairperson. Clear? Executive chairperson. Now, when it comes to this body NALSA, it's an entire network across the country, right? So, as we said, to establish a nationwide uniform network to provide free and competent legal services, access to justice for all, their motto as well. So, we have the entire structure starting with at the top NALSA. Under NALSA, you will have SLSA. And yes, the reference is salsa. For every state, you have salsa. So, in total, there are 37 salsas across the country. Then, under every salsa, you have DALSA, DLSA, District Legal Services Authorities. 673 such dalsas are there. Okay. Under every dalsa, at the taluk level, block level, we have talsa, uh, which is actually called TLSC, the Taluk Legal Service Committees. So let's not call it talsa, but TLSC. And around 2,351 TLSCs. This is the entire nationwide network that you have. Clear? Now, the bigger point is what the hell is all this, what the hell are all these bodies doing? What's their functioning? So, the functioning of NALSA, SALSA, etc. is all these things. Point one, they provide legal aid and assistance to eligible categories of people before courts, tribunals. Legal assistance is provided in terms of lawyers, outreach programs, meaning making people aware about their rights. Lok Adalat, promoting alternative dispute resolution. Now, what is Lok Adalat? We'll discuss tomorrow morning, right? Or maybe in the afternoon. And victim compensation scheme, rehabilitation of victims. That's also something that is done by the entire network, right? So, for example, they provide free legal aid, advice, counseling, and you'll be surprised that in the year 2022-23, right? Sorry, 21-22, 63 lakh people availed the benefit of this free legal aid. 63.7 lakh people. Then it also provides for legal awareness programs, workshops, social media campaigns. All these things are provided. And 11.34 lakh programs were conducted, making people aware of the rights, etc. Then they conduct Lok Adalats, we'll discuss it tomorrow, and promoting ADI, we'll discuss it tomorrow. Then preventive and strategic intervention program. So they have various such schemes that NALSA runs, including these outreach programs. They are nothing but some kind of schemes that these bodies run. NALSA schemes. A very good example would be you have the NALSA Legal Service to Disaster Victims Scheme 2010, or the NALSA Victim of Trafficking and Commercial Sexual Exploitation Scheme 2015, or NALSA Child Friendly Legal Services to Children and Their Protection Scheme, right? NALSA Legal Services to Mentally Ill, Mentally Disabled Person Scheme. So there are various schemes, like one scheme is NALSA Legal Service to Victims of Acid Attack Scheme 2016. So there are various kind of schemes, right, to provide legal help to various types of victims of various kinds of atrocities, etc. Beyond that, NALSA also sometimes fights cases in courts, right? Social justice litigation is also done. A very good example of this is, back in 2014, NALSA fought a case ensuring the rights of transgenders. Or back in 2012, a court case with respect to widows in Vrindavan. Widows in Vrindavan. Social justice litigation, court cases. Clear? So, court cases are also fought by NALSA to uphold the rights of groups in our country. Then, the question is, what exactly are we referring to with these free legal services that we are talking about? So, see, the idea is any and every kind of expenditure, any and every kind of expenditure that you can possibly incur while filing a court case, it's all taken care of by the body, right? So payment of court fees, processing fees, etc., providing services of lawyers in legal proceedings, that's also done. In fact, you'll be surprised that this entire structure of NALSA, DALSA, all these have roughly 50,000 lawyers on their panel. 50,000 lawyers. These lawyers provide free legal service to the people who approach NALSA, SALSA, DLSC, DALSA, and TLSCs. Then, whenever a judgment comes, getting a certified copy of the judgment, getting a translation of the judgment, all such things. Again, obtaining and supply of certified copies of orders, documents, everything you will get help from NALSA. And preparing for appeals, paper book, printing, document translation, any and everything, as I said, whatever possible cost that may be attached to any court case, be it something as simple as printing a court's order, photocopy, or something as huge as hiring a lawyer, it's all done free of cost. Free of cost. Clear? But then, who is this service meant for? This service is meant for the eligibility criteria is all women and children. All the women, all the children are covered here. Okay, number one. And just to give you a rough example, over 2 crore women and 2.5 crore children were beneficiaries of the services of NALSA, SALSA, etc. in 2021. Right? Over 2 crores each in just 1 year. You can imagine the amount of help being provided by these bodies to ensure justice is not denied to people who may not be able to afford it. Then members of SC/STs, around 75 to 80 lakh, the exact number was 76.9 lakh. SCs availed benefit under these schemes, and around 28 lakh STs availed benefit. Then transgenders whose annual income is less than 2 lakh rupees, 15,000 of these transgenders availed benefit. Then industrial workers in industries, around 48 lakh workers got help in 1 year. Then victims of mass disaster, violence, flood, drought, earthquakes, all these things, 6 to 7 lakh people in 2021 got the benefit of NALSA, SALSA. Disabled persons, right? Persons in police custody, over 2 lakh people in police custody were provided help by NALSA. Then, very important, persons whose annual income is less than 1 lakh. Can you look at this provision? I mean, yeah, guys, do you know by any chance what is this EWS? Any idea? EWS? No? No, don't say yes. Tell me what is EWS. Economically weaker section, basically the reference is that if you are from the economically weaker section, that is 8 lakh or below, you are given some benefit of reservation. 8 lakh is the criteria. Even for the OBC creamy layer, non-creamy layer, 8 lakh is the criteria. Now look at this. Under NALSA, the government says persons whose annual income is less than 1 lakh. Who is the real poor? 1 lakh or 8 lakhs? When you have to give something free with no money involved, then you say 8 lakh. And when money is involved, then you say no, 1 lakh only. So that's there. And then victims of trafficking in human beings, that's also there. So this is the eligibility criteria for those people who want the benefit of NALSA, SALSA, etc. Clear? Solve this question. Very easy and simple question, nothing much to discuss here. Not at all complicated. Please mark the answer. Of course, easy question. Persons with an annual income of less than 1 lakh, of course, they are covered. So this is wrong, this is wrong. Now see, 4. All senior citizens. Even Rajnikant is a senior citizen. We can't cover Rajnikant under free services. Transgenders with an annual income of less than rupees 2 lakhs. So A, 1 and 2 only is the answer. Clear? That's it for NALSA. Okay. So any doubts, any queries, any concerns with NALSA? Just a basic topic. Sometimes the question prelims is asked from NALSA. So very simple to understand, not complicated at all. Should we move on now? So those who connected late, I believe there's some concern from some of you. You can just watch the recording. You'll get an idea of what this is. Just 20 minutes of topic, nothing much. It normally does not happen, but I don't know what happened today. Sad that it happened in my class. Uh, are we all there now? All okay? What exactly was the concern, guys? Now it's all working? Okay. I'll just, yes, Parshuram, it's mentioned here. Disabled persons. Okay, I'll just give you a brief on what this structure is. So, uh, as far as NALSA is concerned, when it comes to this entire structure, this entire concept of NALSA, this is basically done because we have a DPSP, Article 39, capital A, which says that there should be free legal aid to weaker sections. Free legal aid assistance needs to be given to weaker sections. In what form or manner, that we can decide later on. So, a law was passed called the Legal Services Authorities Act. This law was passed, right? And this under this law, a body was formed called NALSA. Not just single body, but a network of bodies was formed with NALSA at the head. And NALSA is controlled by or is supervised by the Supreme Court. The formal position of the head is the CJI, and the actual executive chairperson is the senior most Supreme Court judge. Now, what is the structure? At the head, we have NALSA, below it, SALSA in every state. Then you have DALSA and TLSCs, Taluk, that is a block, legal service committees. These are the number of those bodies that we have. Then these are the various key programs run by them. In short, they provide legal aid, counseling, awareness, etc. Counseling, etc. Lawyer, legal help. If you have a case to fight, you can approach NALSA, SALSA, DL, DALSA, etc. They'll give you a lawyer. Then they also conduct awareness camps, social media camps, etc., seminars and all, and make people aware on what rights they have. They also sometimes fight cases, social justice litigation, court cases. To uphold the rights of transgenders, etc. Then they also run some outreach programs, lot of intervention programs for victims of disasters, victims of acid attack, for victims of domestic violence, all such things. Then they conduct Lok Adalat and ADR. We'll discuss this tomorrow. Lok Adalat and ADR tomorrow. ADR stands for Alternate Dispute Resolution Mechanism. Clear? Then these are the legal services they provide. In short, what I was trying to say was that what kind of legal service? Any and everything that is required any and everything that is required to fight a case in the court, be it some kind of lawyer's assistance, be it some kind of photocopy of document, be it printing of something, be it spending some money on arranging for some you know evidences, etc. Everything, the monetary assistance comprehensively is provided for by the body. And for whom is this meant? These are the eligible people who can approach the NALSA. You know, uh, how UPSC's question setting standards are so pathetic sometimes. Look at this question: person with annual income less than 1 lakh. Now, I'll tell you something. This 1 lakh annual income is not standard, it varies from state to state. In some states, like say Andhra, Haryana, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Assam, Himachal, Assam, Himachal, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Haryana, this limit is 3 lakhs. 3 lakhs. In states like Bihar, Rajasthan, etc., this limit is 1.5 lakhs. This is not some standard provision everywhere that the limit is 3 lakhs, 1 lakh only. It varies. But sadly, UPSC will not look into all these things. They'll simply copy paste something from somewhere and make a question, which is very shameful. As the leading uh, institution for recruitment, that's your duty. Under Article 320, the duty of UPSC is to conduct recruitment for the top jobs in the country. And that's also something you cannot do properly. Only task. But again, as I said, we can crib and cry over this, but eventually, what matters is in the examination, we have to mark the right answer. To tell you further, even the transgender option is not accurate because this concept of transgenders getting service is only for Delhi, not for the parts of the country. So let me write here. At least till the time the question was made, this was limited to Delhi only. So senior citizens are also covered actually. Senior citizens are also covered, like in state UTs like Delhi, but their annual income should be less than 2 lakhs. So this is how poorly framed the questions are in UPSC. Just one, sir, a rich man, a rich person in custody. No, no, they won't get. No, that's not possible. It is meant for the weaker sections only, right? So that's not possible. I mean, to think of it, just to mention this point, see, you don't know right now the DPS, the DPSPs, but just to tell you, if you ever look at the DPSP Article 39, capital A, this article actually, if I can recollect verbatim, it reads that the state shall secure that the operation of its legal system, right, promotes justice on the basis of equal opportunity and shall in particular do what? Provide free legal aid by suitable legislation or schemes like NALSA or in any other way to ensure that opportunities for securing justice are not denied to any citizen by reasons of economic or other disabilities. So the idea is to provide for economic and other disabilities, people who are suffering from these things, to provide for justice to all sections of society. That's the purpose of NALSA, right? Anyway, so that is all as far as NALSA is concerned. Not just one, it's not a vague point. The criteria is very fixed, clearly fixed. The income limit is fixed. It depends on which state you are in, but the income limit is fixed. So it's not vague. It's just that the UPSC's question was vague. But the criteria given by NALSA is not vague. It's very fixed. Are we clear on this? Shreya, Lok Adalat will discuss tomorrow. Should we move on now, guys? Okay, let's move on. So we are done with our judiciary. Now we'll discuss just a small topic firstly, judicial independence, why it is important, and then we'll start discussing the issues concerning judiciary. Dinesh, NALSA was the topic we were discussing. The class started around 6:15, right? So you have missed nothing, not much. Anyway, it's recorded. You can watch 10 minutes of class. Okay, don't worry, don't panic. It's all there recorded. You'll have to put in 10-15 minutes of time. Now come back here, focus on what is being taught at hand. Ignore these things, will keep on happening in life. What can we do? It's beyond our control, all such things. That is why, just one advice from me, when you're an aspirant, don't be a crusader. Aspirants are aspirants, don't be an activist right now. It's okay. Our task is to study as much as we can. That's it. Okay, now coming to Jaswant, we'll have to look at DPSP to understand your question. Actually, makes no sense because don't know DPSP. That's why you're asking this question. DPSP does not give us anything. DPSP asks the state to do it, and that is why the state is doing it. Right? Anyway, we'll come to this when you study DPSP more. Okay, no problem. Judicial independence. Is it required? Of course, it's required. See, the purpose of judicial independence is to firstly ensure this separation of power. Separation of power between L, E, and J. And if the judiciary is not independent, how will it ever be able to ensure checks and balances? Yes or no? Checks on the legislature, checks on the executive. That is why the need for judicial independence. Secondly, think of it. If you ever get a chance to look at these cases in the court, in the Supreme Court especially, you will find that in most of these cases, government is one litigant. Now, if government is one litigant and judiciary is very close to the government only, then how will the judgments ever be fair? Imagine a judge says, a judge wants to give a judgment. Tomorrow is the date of verdict. What happens now? The law minister or the PM calls the judge late at night. Tomorrow judgment in our favor only. Or I'll bring a bill to reduce your salary to 10 rupees per month. Do you want this? Judge says, no, sir, don't change my salary, please. And okay, then judgment in my favor. Judgment given. That is why it's very important to ensure that they are separate completely. Complete separation. Then to maintain rule of law. What is rule of law? See, just read the word. Rule of law. Rule, not of people. Understand? Rule is of law. We'll discuss this concept further in way more detail when we study Article 14. But just in the meantime, this idea of rule of law is basically a slight modification. So earlier we had a concept called Rex Lex. King is the law. Whatever the king says is the law. But now it's reversed. Lex res. Law is the king. Law is the king of all the kings. Don't think that BJP or Congress or Aam Aadmi Party or any party has come to power. No. Whichever party has won the election, they are simply getting the opportunity to implement the laws. Law is the real boss. You are just there to ensure that people follow laws properly. Rule is never of the people. Rule is always of the law. The biggest misconception that we have, though, that we are the kings and queens. No, no, no. State cannot have arbitrary powers. That's not possible. Limitations on the power of state. Now, who will check that? Who will check whether the government, whether the legislature acts in accordance with laws or not? Judiciary. And if judiciary is not independent, then how will they ever be able to keep a check on all this? Never. That's a problem. So, to uphold, to maintain the rule of laws in the country, we need an independent judiciary. Then, see, India is a democracy like many other countries. And in a democracy, always understand that majority is represented by the government, by the parliament. So for majority, you already have the parliament. For majority, you already have the government, right? What is not there is the representation of minorities. Who, after all, is going to represent the minorities? When I say minorities, I don't mean to say minorities based on religion only. Minorities can be linguistic, caste based, religious, sexual, transgender, etc. Any kind of minority. Who will ensure that the entire country, the rules, regulations are not becoming a play tool at the hands of the majority? Who will prevent the tyranny of majority? Courts. The courts will ensure that just because you are in a majority and have the power to vote and choose a government which responds to your needs only, the minorities' needs are not scuttled, are not thwarted, are not sidelined or subsumed for the sake of any criteria that you want to play. Are we clear? So, to protect the democratic rights of all classes, all sections of people, we need an independent judiciary. And also because in our country, judiciary performs the task of settling dispute between center and states. We know very well that the center is very powerful. In fact, the constitution, right now I don't know, but over the course of next week as also, you'll get to know that center is extremely powerful, extremely powerful. The constitution has been made to ensure a centralizing tendency. And amidst all this, if you don't have a judiciary which is able to ensure that the center does not completely overpower the states, then what's the point of calling India a quasi federal nation, also? Right? How will we ever protect the states which represent the diversity of the country? So, to preserve federalism, to preserve the norms of federal form of government, independent judiciary is needed. Clear? Gaurav, but laws are made by government. Uh, See, when the laws are made by government, even then, the Supreme Court, the High Courts, they have the power of review. Ultimately, if you try to take any action, make any law which violates the settled principles in the constitution, then the Supreme Court can strike down the law, cancel that executive action. But they can only do so if they have what? Independence. Clear? Now, what steps have we taken actually in the constitution to ensure independence? See, as far as the senior courts are concerned, the higher courts are concerned, the Supreme Court and the High Court, here we have plenty of options. Point number one, appointment. Think of the appointment only. When it comes to the appointment, it is completely independent. Now we are following a collegium system. In fact, too much of independence in the appointment. That's there. Removal. Removal is extremely difficult. It's a special majority with so much of so many checks at every point of time. The presiding officer can reject it, inquiry committee can reject it. So many checks are there. Then, the conduct of judges cannot be discussed in the parliament. This is actually Article 121, that is for the parliament, and also Article 211, this is for the state legislatures, that you cannot discuss the conduct of a sitting judge in the parliament, not allowed. Ensures the respect and authority of the judge, right? Then they are debarred from practice in future. For Supreme Court, we know the article, I'm quoting the article 124 clause 7. What is that for? To ensure independence. Then the salaries, the allowances, they're all charge expenditure. You can't reduce the salary. Whatever judgment they give in your favor or against you, sorry, you simply cannot reduce their salary while they are in office. Then, as per Article 145, think of it, Supreme Court has a power to make its own rules. Supreme Court makes its own rules, right? And then contempt power also. So, being a court of records, the Supreme Court and the High Courts have the power to punish people for its contempt if you don't follow their orders or you make any kind of negative derogatory statement which you cannot prove through facts. You can be jailed as well. Not just monetary fine, but jail, 6 months jail. That's also possible. So, all these are ways to ensure independence in the country. Now, one thing that I would like to point out here only is that all this independence drama is there for Supreme Court, largely in high courts. How independent are lower courts? At least the Constitution has not placed that safeguard. That's something that we are lagging behind in terms of the comparison here, and that's what we lack also. Clear? But yes, Supreme Court, High Courts, we have ensured that there is sufficient opportunity to for people to ensure that you are definitely independent, free from the clutches of the government. Clear? Okay. Now solve this question. Came in 2012. I'll give you a minute. Take all the time you want and mark the answer. Yashaswini. No problem, Yashaswini. Take rest. Health is important. Absolutely correct. 70% got this answer right. While appointing the Supreme Court judges, the President of India has to consult the Chief Justice of India. Okay, fair enough. Agreed. The Supreme Court judges can be removed by Chief Justice of India. No, no, no. The Supreme Court judges can be removed by Parliament. Two is wrong. Two is wrong, one is correct. We actually have the answer, but nevertheless, the salary of judges are charged on the CFI, to which legislature does not have to vote. Correct. All appointment of officers and staff of the Supreme Court of India are made by government after consulting Chief Justice. No, no, it's the other way around. The appointments of all officers and staff is made by Chief Justice with the formal approval of the President. So that's there. So fourth is also wrong. A, 1 and 3 only is the right answer. Are you clear, everyone? No doubts here? Okay. Now, let's move on to understand the issues concerning judiciary. First up, pendency of cases. Pending cases in the country. How many cases are pending in the country? Huge problem, right? Pendency of cases. Yes or no? No? What is pendency of cases? Pending cases. You know, this meme is actually from a very famous movie called Damini in the early 1990s. That's 30 years back. When this actor Sunny Deol, I'm sure you know his resurgence in Gadar 2, a recently released movie. So in this movie, Sunny Deol is very angry and he starts saying in court that the court only knows one thing: adjournment, tariq pe tariq, just giving dates after dates. Right? Right? Adjournment. That's what they know. Next date. It's very, very easy to get new dates in court. Adjournment of a case. What is adjournment? Date of next meeting is decided that okay, you have not collected evidence properly today. Next date, 15th of next month. Simple. Uh, just to give you some kind of estimate on what exactly we are referring to when it comes to pendency, in the Supreme Court, there are roughly 70,000 cases pending. 70,000. Just to be more clear and precise here, number of pending cases. How many cases are pending in Supreme Court? Around 70,000 cases are pending. How many cases are pending in high courts? Over 60 lakh cases pending. 60.7 lakh. How many cases are pending in the lower courts? Subordinate courts. You will be surprised at the number. It's over 4.5 crores. 4.51 crore cases are pending. That's the number we are talking about when it comes to pendency, right? In total, we are referring to 5.1 crore cases pending, roughly more than that in the country. This is the estimate of cases pending in the country, right? And I'll give you a very interesting figure with respect to this. Back in one more thing. Don't think that every high court is like this only. No, no, no. Some high courts have very few pending cases. For example, if you go to, say, Sikkim High Court has only 150 pending cases. You go to Allahabad High Court, 10 lakh pending cases. But even then, just to now further narrow it down to the old pending cases, more important. Pending for 3 years or more. How many cases are pending for more than 3 years? In the high courts, this number is somewhere close to 62%. In the subordinate courts, this number is somewhere close to 42%. And not just this, let me just point this out to you that in our country, there are over 1.7 lakh cases which are pending for 30 years. Pending for over 30 years. 1.7 lakh cases. This is the harsh reality of our judicial system, right? And also, back in 2018, Niti Aayog, and this data is the current data. Niti Aayog back in 2018 had made a report. In 2018, number of pending cases. So right now, number of pending cases is how much? 5.13 crores. It was 2.9 crores. Niti Aayog said to resolve the backlog, meaning all the pending cases. If we ask people, don't file any case, to resolve all the pending cases, it's very, very simple. It will take how many years? Just 324 years. That's it. In 324 years, we will solve all the cases. 2.9 crore. 2.9 crore. Now the pending cases are almost double. This means roughly 600 years. It will take 600 years. To resolve all the pending cases and provide justice to all the people in this country. Clear? So maybe if you file a case today, your great grandson or granddaughter will win the case. Maybe that's possible. What can we say? And let me just clarify one thing here. The case clearance rate is less than 100%, meaning if every year 100 cases are filed, new cases are filed, the lower courts are able to clear 89 cases only, meaning this backlog is only getting added up. It is not that we are filing 100 cases every year. Supreme Court and High Courts are solving 200 cases every year to clear the backlog. Think of this in your college examinations. If every year 6 new papers have come for the semester examinations, and you are able to clear only 5 papers every year, 6 more papers, you clear 5 only. So your backlog is only going to increase. Every batch I take for so many years, this figure has kept on increasing only. Now I have lost track of. I started at the pendency of 1-2 crores, right? It has reached 5 crores. So that's how pathetic the environment is in the judiciary, right? Anyway, so that is with respect to the pending cases, but eventually, Supreme Court's motto is where there is dharma, there will be victory. That's the motto of Supreme Court. That where there is dharma, where there is dharma, there will be victory. We're not really sure whose victory and what's the dharma here, but anyway, that's it. One more important point that we need to understand and also appreciate is the challenge that it brings. When you have so many pending cases, what is the possible adverse or negative implication? What is the negative implication of all these cases? Uh, Krishna, sir, 62% of 60.7 lakhs. Yes, Krishna. Pavitra, when these cases are resolved, when these cases are clear, Pavitra, relax, relax. We'll discuss why the cases, why they did, when they did, so many questions. Okay, let us firstly understand what can be a challenge. So what? If cases are pending, it's okay. What's the problem? Adverse. What are the negative implications? Of course, one thing that we have heard right from our childhood, justice delayed is justice denied. If after say 20, 30 years justice comes to you, then what's the point of that justice? Golapalli, sir, guys will discuss why cases are pending. Just have patience. Let us flow with the events. Okay? I will not run away in between, just giving you figures. I'll tell you why the cases are pending and how we can reduce them. Clear? Don't panic. Don't panic at all. What about Niti Aayog concept? What is a concept? There is no concept, madam. It is just data. Don't ask me to explain data now. This concept of Niti Aayog is basically that Niti Aayog conducted a study and found that in 2018 the pending cases were 2.9 crores. To resolve those pending cases, 324 years are required. Okay, that was the concept. Pavitra, multiple batch student, never revising, always attending class only. Now, justice delayed is justice denied, of course, that's true. I'll give you a true story. No exaggeration, no false stories here. Okay. That's why we always say that it's very, very important that the right people enter the services. This service is not just there for charm and prestige and power. When people claim that I can do so much for my country, I can completely devote my life to the nation. It's very important that right people enter the services, right, amongst you only, because the burden on your shoulder is going to be immense to ensure justice for everybody. There's a case which came in the court, the high court, where a person finally was given the date. His date came in the court, and when the matter was read, it was found that he was in the jail as an under trial, accused, as an under trial, accused in the jail because he was not being given bail. For how many years? For 12 years. And the maximum punishment for the crime he supposedly or allegedly had committed was 2 years only. That's it. Even if the court had found him guilty, he would have been out of jail 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And the judge, of course, with folded hands, apologized and asked the court to direct 20, 25,000 rupees to be given to the victim. 25,000 rupees as a huge compensation, right? For 10 years of life. I mean, such huge money. I'm not sure what he did. Maybe he purchased some land in Las Vegas only, opened a casino with that money. We don't know. Vidhan, he should have pleaded guilty. Sir, you just cannot go and plead guilty. There are procedures. So things cannot uh, uh, happen randomly. That today you start pleading guilty. I want to plead guilty. No, no, no. You will plead guilty in front of court only. For that also, date is required. For everything, there's a process. You are trapped in the process somehow. And when you are standing here in this queue, somebody from the back waving the nepotism card, elite card, comes right in front and says, "My turn next." Even in our God's temples, you have the VIP pass, right? It's okay. So, if even the God's temples VIP passes are there, why not judiciary? What can we say? So, this is just one of the few examples of how harsh reality can be for the weaker sections. And that is why when you enter the service, it's extremely important to ensure that you are fully devoted towards serving people to reduce inequality, to reduce this unfair advantage that certain people constantly have and they blatantly abuse it. Right? Okay. Now, increasing tendency to employ extra legal means, that's also there. Slowly and steadily, think of this very simple thing. Look at all these uh, lending institutions, not the government banks, but these small financiers. These small financial institutions, when they lend money to purchase a car, maybe some bike, etc., they will, if you don't repay, they will not go and file a case in court. They know very well if they file a case in court, it may take 10 years to recover their 40,000 rupees. No, no, no. They will send some bodybuilder fed people to your house who will ask you nicely, give the EMI. They'll ask you so nicely that you will give the next 5-10 EMIs also. That's the idea. So people stop using the legal means and start employing extra legal means, right? Then there is also the erosion of image and the credibility of judiciary. That if this is how the courts function, it's okay. I'll resolve my problems outside the court. It's the same thing like the police, right? And see, I don't want to sound like a communist, please. So I make it a point not to sound like them. But sometimes you have to also ensure that the weaker sections are not suppressed. And such is the system in our country that these people holding power, they wield it and unabashedly on our face. Look at the police, a body, a structure, an institution meant to serve our needs. Has anyone ever felt happy approaching the police? No, always nervous, right? A few months back, there was a stand up comedian who made this joke on the police, and rightfully so. that we never look at the police, that the police has come. Oh, police has come. No, it's always, oh, police has come. Some problem. We always are skeptical about the police, right? So that's why you say police, neither friends nor enemies. And that's the same thing here as well. We are constantly the poor person. What does he have to rely on now? The judiciary. And if that also fails you, then what is left for you? Right? And then the story of God. Oh, in the next life, you'll have amazing life. This life is meant for Ambani, Ranis, and Tatas and Birlas. Next life is yours. This is what you can feed in the brains of these poor people. Nothing else. Slums are demolished in the capital, but we celebrate the success of and the grandeur of great events. How normal is it for us to see that it's okay? Slums get demolished, people come on the road. That's okay. So that's the balance has to be maintained. Yes, country respect is very important. So is the respect and dignity of every individual. And also wastage of resources. You are constantly giving dates after dates for the same kind of case. Why? Because your amazing police could never find out correct evidence, some problem with the photocopy, lines not visible. They give all these excuses to get new dates, and the court, next date, next date, next date. It wastes resources, resource of time, resource of money. One more thing. See, in our country, recently Supreme Court had made the statement that what is the government doing? It's very very important to ensure that the uh, prison population, we have to have a nice, neat prison environment, right? Where actually rehabilitation should take place. Prisons are meant for reform, not in our country. No, no, no. That could be in Sweden, not in India. India prisons are learning experience. You go as a noob, you come out a legendary criminal because you learn tricks of the trade. Prisons are overcrowded in our country. Supreme Court has scolded the governments. Prisons are overcrowded. But let us just remind our my lords one important point. Of the total prison population, so according to 2021 data, prison population is roughly 5.54 lakh. The exact number was 5 lakh 54,034 people in the prison. 5.5 lakhs. Of these people, you'll be surprised. 77% people were under trials. Under trials, just accused, not serving a punishment. These people have been denied bail. Why? Either they are not able to furnish the bail bond, the money required to furnish as security deposit, or the police feels that they may abscond, run away, or the police feels that they may threaten the witnesses, tamper with the evidence. Why is it that always the poor people, the police is so afraid that the poor people can tamper with the evidence, threaten the witness, and they are denied bail? So, because of that, one more problem is overcrowding of jails. 77, 77.1% prison population under trials. Who are under trials? Under trials are just accused people, not guilty. They are not convicts. So look at our jails. There are more accused people, three times more accused, right, than actual guilty people. And rich elite people are roaming on the streets, partying every night at the cost of the justice delivery for the large section of society. So, this is the adverse implication. What can be the possible problems? And India has the sixth highest under trial population anywhere in the on the planet, sixth highest, right? So these are some negative implications that may happen because of the delay in the pendency of a delay in the delivery of justice. Now tell me, since all of you are here, educated elite people, how would you or what would you attribute this delay to? Tell me, what are the problems? What do you think, in your opinion, is the reason for this delay? No reason, nothing. Less number of judges. What else? Judge to population ratio. What else? They want to go home at no, no, no. Vedant, that's too harsh. That may not be correct. Many holidays, number of judges not adequate. Red tapeism in judiciary, not really, but in police and stuff, yes, of course. Lesser sittings, less judges, facilities, faulty investigations, high number of holidays, evidence not available properly, less efficient police. Anything else? Solving most cases under police station, corruption. Omkar, we already are doing it actually. We have separate fast track courts to solve pending cases. I'll discuss that shortly. So, okay, let's just write on the points you are mentioning. So, of course, a very important element in our country that is a big challenge is also the judge to population ratio. So, firstly, the total sanctioned strength is very low, very low. I mean, if you look at it, say compared to a country like mm, China, USA, in these countries, say China has 2 lakh judges. In India, we have in total how many judges? Slightly more than 26,000. So we have 26,277 judges in total. All the 3 courts together. Second point. The population of our country is very high on the contrary. So, number of judges per 10 lakh people is also very poor. So, we don't have enough judges only depending on our population to serve the needs of our people. Right? So, this population ratio is roughly 18 to 20 per million people. What is million? 10 lakhs. So if you take the current population, then it's 18.39 lakh. If you take the 2011 census, then it's 21. So 18 to 20 judges per million people. In countries like China, it's 300. USA, 150 judges. We are at 20 judges per million population. How will we ever serve the needs of the people? And to top it all, we have vacancies. In the Supreme Court, 34 judges, you cannot get 34 judges. 2 vacancies right now. In the High Courts, perpetual vacancies. Currently, the vacancies stand at 340. That's over 30% vacancy. 30% plus vacancy. Right? In the subordinate courts, this vacancy roughly ranges to 22 to 25%. 22 to 25% vacancy. This is a vacancy we are talking about currently. which is standard, every time. It is not at some unique kind of situation. Standard vacancy. Then, of course, there are some other issues also. Other issues that could be that could you could attribute to say things like government compulsorily filing cases, right? So, government keeps on filing cases. We call this as government is a compulsive litigant. Then we also have very poor quality of investigation, very poor quality of prosecution. Very poor quality of investigation and prosecution. Now, see, one reason for this is also the untrained police staff, frankly. And let's not uh, beat around the bush here. All the good training, Labasna, Hyderabad, training maybe in Mysore, etc. All these trainings, foreign trainings, are meant for top officials, Group A, people like you. A Havaldar at the ground level is rarely trained, right? And it's the same old training pattern that is followed. Now, a very nice movie on this was this Tamil movie. I'm not sure how many of you have even heard of it. I can't pronounce the name properly. It's Tana Karan. So Tana Karan is the movie. I'm not sure if anybody here is from Tamil Nadu and has heard or seen this movie, but that movie was actually based on this concept only. Sendil. So that's the Tana Karan. Is that the correct pronunciation? I don't know. So, oh, correct pronunciation also. Great. So, this was a movie which talked about this only on how the police training is so rote, so rooted in ensuring a hierarchy and not training them to come out as an efficient and very effective branch of governance to ensure delivery of justice on time. No, no, no. That's not the focus, right? No training on collecting high quality evidence. Think of the same constable is required to maintain uh, law and order in the city. The same constable is a person who also has to ensure political rallies are done peacefully. Same constable also has to ensure that he is the first person who reaches a crime, and we expect him to collect forensic level type evidence, right? And the same constable also is there who will bring vegetables, take your spouse and kids to school and work in your own house, right? And then we want them to perform with impeccable integrity. This is wrong. So that's there. One more thing, and some of you will be surprised to know, is the number of holidays in the courts. Supreme Court does not work for more than 190 days. For Holi, they have 1 week holiday. For Dashera and Diwali, they have 5 days of holiday. They have summer vacation, 45 days. Winter vacation, 15 days. So that's again a very serious concern. Excessive number of holidays. So sittings in total are very less. And high courts, right? So around 190 days per year, and high courts around 210 days per year. That's there. Then also because of the old laws, we have lot of procedural complexities. Procedural complexities due to old laws. For example, IPC is of 1860. Now, finally, we have at least taken a step to create a new IPC. 1860. The Code of Civil Procedure is of 1908. The Indian Evidence Act is of 1871. So, sorry, 72. The Indian Police Act is of 1861, etc. You can Google search for them and get their full form also, no problem. Old laws, lot of procedural challenges. Then frivolous litigations being filed. So in our country, lawyers and people hire lawyers to file useless kind of cases, and sometimes they get the court date also. I mean, there was a case a few, I mean, months back or maybe last year. This case involved this celebrity, this actress Juhi Chawla. For those who don't know, Juhi Chawla used to be a very popular actress in the 1990s, and I think she's one of the co-owners of this KKR team, the IPL. I'm not sure of that. So anyway, so she had gone to court to file a case that 5G towers are, causing some kind of uh, mental problem to the kids. It will cause damage to the kids' brain, etc. And they are getting court dates also. I mean, there are people who are waiting for delivery of justice, and our politicians go to court saying, "Oh, he made fun of me. She made fun of me." See, I am not defending or trying to be against anyone, but look at the speed with which Rahul Gandhi's case was resolved, right? Even before, why Rahul Gandhi is making fun of some person, that's okay, I understand. Very serious. But there are more important cases pending for years. When will the court get time to solve those cases? No. It's somebody made fun of me. Oh, yes, called me this and that. Oh, court case. But otherwise, people who are accused there, waiting, somebody's waiting for justice. Wait. Important matters first, right? So we don't really know who will get a chance. I mean, if you can afford a lawyer and pay 40 lakh rupees lawyer fee, great. You'll have the court date perfectly aligned. So frivolous, silly, useless, silly cases being filed. Beyond this, we also have a very big concern, the concern which you cannot rectify because it's actually something that is only going to increase, and that is education level. Rising levels of literacy. Now, this is not a negative thing, but this is also a contributing factor. Are you clear? Contributing factor. Meaning what? See, when we become more aware and educated, we also become aware and educated about our rights. And if our rights are being trampled upon, then we are more likely to use the legal means available. And a classic example of this is a data comparison between a state like Bihar, Jharkhand, and state like Tamil Nadu. So back in 2012, this data was collected to find that for every 1,000 people in Tamil Nadu, roughly 12 people were filing a civil case, right? But in Bihar, Jharkhand, this was as low as zero point 0.5. And look at the developed countries. In India, 17 cases are filed for every 1,000 people. 17 cases. In USA, this number is 330. Our courts and judges say uh, that people file too many cases. Really? Have you even seen the data on Western countries? Western countries, USA, 330 cases are filed for every 1,000 people. In our country, only 17, 17. Imagine if we reach the level of USA and we file cases at the same rate. We'll have pendency running into hundreds of crores. What are they even talking about? Then, one more issue is the allegation of corruption. So a lot of these lawyers, etc., keep on making allegations of corruption. Retired Supreme Court judges have made allegations. Justice Kardju has called Allahabad High Court as a den of corruption. Prashant Bhushan keeps on referring to corruption in the Supreme Court, etc. Nepotism is an argument. I am not saying all this. These are retired judges who are making all these allegations. Plus nepotism. Then frequent adjournments. All these only end up adding to the pendency. And not just this. Now let's also understand a very, very serious concern for our lower judiciary. Very poor, completely inadequate infrastructure at the lower judiciary. At the lower judiciary, the infrastructure is pathetic. So when you see in the movies, those courts are, even though they may represent a lower court, they are likely to be High Court and Supreme Court only, nice courts. When you see the High Court, Supreme Court, now you see all these courts, right, on YouTube, etc. See how spacious, everything nicely presented and all. Those are the Supreme Courts and High Courts, not the lower courts. Are we clear? Lower courts functioning in a small, dingy kind of room in a large court premise. One room for the judge, no fan, no electricity. Just to give you some facts, firstly, we have shortage of court halls only, courtrooms. Then, secondly, you'll be surprised that 46% of these courts, 46%, no purified drinking water. They do not have any availability of purified drinking water whatsoever. 68% of these courts, no record room to keep the records safely. Records lined up, piled up besides the judge only. Anybody can walk in and say, Judge Saab, look that side. Bird, take the record, go away from there. Lost. Record is lost now. The case prolongs. Then, 49% courts, no library. In the court complex. You don't have to mug up all these numbers. You can simply talk about shortage of purified drinking water, record room, etc. Then 26% and 16% courts. 26% courts don't have a ladies' washroom. 16% courts don't have men's washroom. Right? And of course, 63% courts don't have computer on judges table. No computer. This is the environment in which the lower courts are functioning. Right? This is the environment in which we expect these judges to deliver top notch justice to people. I mean, our expectations are also misplaced only. Now, for this, uh, actually, the center is running some schemes to provide for monetary support. Center says for 2021 to 2026 to improve the infrastructure, infra, they will be devolving or sending roughly 5,307 crores rupees, 5,307 crores. And the expectation is that the states will also devolve the remaining 3,700 crores. Remaining, that is roughly around 3,700 crores by states. But please don't feel bad. But most of these states are busy giving freebies to people, right? Distribute freebies to people. And they have no interest in developing or strengthening the judiciary at the lower level. Because when I can purchase votes, why will I perform? But now they have also started this, the government has also launched this Nyay Vikas. Very interesting. So whenever any new infrastructure is developed, they will geotag it. So this is an online system of geotagging of new infrastructure. This is there. So that is it with respect to our issues that we have as far as our what pendency of cases is concerned. Right? Now, how do we solve these problems? How to address the concern? What corrective steps can be taken? Tell me, what corrective steps can be taken? Recruitment, increase judge to population ratio, all the issues that we have, we can simply solve all those issues step by step. So, very simple. Number one, enhance or increase the total sanction strength. Increase the total sanctioned strength, because this will then increase what? Increase the judge to population ratio, make it at least 50 per million. This was the recommendation of a law commission in 1987, that at least have 50 judges per million. 1987. We are yet to attain, forget half also. What are we doing? Why can't we increase the number of judges? Then filling up the vacancies, that needs to be done. Then, of course, revamp old laws. Then, capacity building of the police personnel. What is capacity building? Tell me, what is capacity building? Training. Simple. Remember panchayats? Training. Then what else? One more thing that we can do is we can go for virtual hearings also. Or let's not write this. Let's write use of ICT. What is ICT? Information and Communication Technology. ICT. So here we can increase the virtual hearings. If somebody is not available, don't give the next date. Online hearing. We can go for proper digitization of records. We can do proper data analysis. Then also, somebody is asking me in the morning, sir, what is this NIA court, CBI court, etc. So to help you understand, there's nothing called a CBI court or NIA court. It's a regular court only. But now the idea is that in a normal court, you, me, anybody can go and file a case. But if a court has been designated as a CBI court, then only CBI is allowed to file cases in the court. So basically, that court, the judge functions, he's a normal judge, some magistrate only. But his task is to preside over only those cases which CBI has filed. So what we can do is set up fast track courts to resolve pending cases, at least those cases which are older than 30 years. We can selectively have some people, some judges, and we'll tell them, in your court, only 30-year-old case will be filed. At least eliminate those first. That's a shame on the court system in the country. Then uh, improving infrastructure. Infrastructure needs to be improved. Now, see, one more point would be that leaves of our judges, it can't be reduced, because see, judges don't on their vacation enjoy. They also have to read all the cases and read the judgment, write the judgment on their own. So many lawyers will come and give them multiple points, but they have to read, consult various books and all. It takes time, I understand. What we can do is that let's not get the entire Supreme Court on a lunch or on a vacation at one time. Before the start of every year, ask all the judges, when do you want your 1 month of leave to study, practice, whatever, and spread the leaves across the year. So two judges go to leave on January, three in February, two in March, four in April, etc. In this way, the Supreme Court functions throughout the year. So spreading leaves throughout the year. We call this staggering. Staggering. Staggering of the leaves throughout the year. Okay. Then one more thing, we can also popularize alternate dispute resolution, that is ADR mechanism. What is this ADR? Example, लोक अदालत, ग्राम न्यायालय, etc. These are steps that we need to take to ensure that justice at least is delivered to people in a timely manner. Right? So that is there. As far as our corrective steps are required, let's end our discussion here only. Tomorrow we'll take up from this point of what exactly is the Lok Adalat, how does it function, what are the parameters, who can approach, and then the Gram Nyalay. And then we'll also move on and discuss other important elements like judicial activism. Right? Gaurav sir, Khap Panchayat in Haryana can be a model. I'm not really sure if that would be an appropriate model, because Supreme Court has already said that such parallel courts are not to be entertained in the country. Anybody trying to run any kind of parallel court, though I'm sure in certain places it would be delivering impeccable justice also, but again, whenever you have such unregulated systems, a lot depends on the people involved and the quality of the local leaders there. So we cannot let that happen. It's like, relying on the goodwill of the king. Jaswant, divorces are now heard in the local adalats. They have been heard since a long time. They are called parivarik lok adalats. M1 army court martials are different, separate. Okay, that's all for today, guys. I won't give any task for today. Improving infrastructure. Pavitra, look at this problem. How to solve this problem? Money, improve infrastructure at the lower judiciary. Okay. So I won't give you any kind of task and all for today. My only request would be, I know it is very, very difficult, I understand it, but please, at least whatever was taught today, revise it once before you sleep, and tomorrow once before we begin the class. It would, trust me, help you a lot. Immediate revision is amazing exercise. And I know fully well that you are exhausted and stuff. Just eat something sweet. It sends the right signal to your brain. Don't worry about gaining weight and stuff. And just revise twice. Okay? Very, very important. Okay, guys. Anything else? So that should be all then. Let's meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. for a day-long marathon session from 10 to 8. We'll be covering judiciary, going to tribunals, and we'll also finish Election Commission of India, the discussion on it, not the body, and also RPA 50 and 51. Okay, great. Sleep well, take care of your health. Proper sleep of at least 7 hours is very important. Let's meet tomorrow. Till then, that is all for me, guys. Jai Hind.